Yeah. Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. Yeah, you know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, huddling, huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. See on stage. On-chain revolution. Guns. Phone.
Welcome back to On-Chain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have a great, amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the On-Chain Hour, and we got Bitcoin sitting at 111. So yesterday we got back to 115. The market seemed to be very happy. The market seemed to be very bullish. Today, not so much. We had China come out today and basically say, no, we're fighting the U.S. to the end. This is not okay. And I mean, China's every right to do that. I mean, honestly, right? It's like we come out and we kind of bully them. It's so weird. Like growing up, being an American citizen, you always thought like all the other countries were the enemy and stuff. But when you really start doing your research, it's like who's the real bullies in the situation? I mean, I love America. I love everything about bit freedom and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like understanding, how politics works and seeing stuff like that. It kind of just shows you like, who's causing the mayhem, and it's definitely us right now, but for good reason. I don't know, right? But I know it's causing my bags to drop, and that's kind of what is happening right now. I'm just so tired of tariffs. I'm so tired of this regime right now, and kind of pushing our markets down, and it's for selfish reasons, right? I want to get rich. I want to make money. Is it better for the country? Maybe. I don't know, but it's not better for me. It's not better for you. It's not better for our bloodlines, right? We want to trench. We want to have fun. We want to make money in this market. And right now, it's just macro. I mean, I feel like our show has become a macro show at this point, and I don't want it to be that way. I want to talk about new projects. I want to talk about new alpha. I want to talk about innovation. I want to talk about amazing stuff. But we keep getting pushed to talk about macro situations. But we will. We have to. We have to keep you guys informed. It's not fun. But there's some stuff happening in the market. We got the Monad airdrop and stuff like that. We're going to talk about later. And then Pizza Ninjas are doing their airdrop today. If you did get in that pre-sale, or if you hold a Ninja or a Pizza Pet, and yeah, we're gonna have a good show today. We're gonna cover a lot of stuff. There's a lot of alpha packed in here as well, so you definitely don't want to miss it. So without further ado, let's bring out my partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up,
Man? How you feeling today? Did I go a little too hard there?
No, I think you broke it down perfectly. That's kind of the state that we're in right now. But I do think that, Friday was a huge event. We were kind of used to, tariffs just kind of stalling the market for maybe a day or so, kind of just, cooling off after that. And Bitcoin's been really resilient against the tariff talk and all that stuff before. So Friday was definitely a shocker. And then all the stuff that came with it. And then, the thing about our space is we kind of live off of these headlines lately, and it pulls you one way or the other, right? It can quickly pull you back to like, okay, we're back. And then all of a sudden, no, we're not. And so that's kind of what happened Sunday. Sunday, felt like we were, okay, we got over that back to 115, 116, and only for Monday to kind of finish people were making money that were shorting the market again. So it's a little bit just emotional. I feel like in the markets in general. I'm talking about everybody that is in it every single day. I don't fault them because of these headlines. They're very, very volatile. And that's not what we want for Q4, right? But it is what we have. You know, just like anything else in any other situation, we got to learn and adapt and figure out how we can be successful in an environment like this, which is hard, but gotta do it.
No, 100%. And like yesterday, there was $200 million in liquidations. It's like, stop. Like, why? Why are you continuing this? I was watching, Get Rich Nick this morning, and he's like, I just lost $1,000 because he went long this morning. And it's like just stop using leverage at this point. Like, there will be a time, in my opinion, that leverage is something that you can use as a tool to help you make up for some gains. But at the same time, it's not now. It's not in this. How do you feel with that? People just like continuing to not use risk management right now in a sideways market that's being controlled by tariff talk.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame them because, if they were ever, if you think about it and you thought if I were ever to use leverage, it would be heading into Q4, which you think is the most bullish environment. Now, with Friday happening, obviously that's you learn from that probably in the short term. I think a lot of it comes down to exposure too. Someone had posted that a lot of these meme coin accounts, these large accounts on X, they made a lot of money in 2024 from memes, and then early 2025, and then meme coin trading got really hard. I mean, you're talking about like people took it really seriously in terms of a strategy to be really conservative in terms of making money, so that would suppress the market caps of a lot of these meme coins, and so they weren't really flying like they were, and there was just really good strategic people that would make profits off of every coin, just onto the next, onto the next. So a lot of these other meme coin people that had large stacks that they made from those meme coins in 2024 and early 2025, they said, I'm going to lose all my money if I keep doing this. So they said, where can I go? And they put that into leverage. But the mindset that they had before was like, trying to hit those big home run hitters. And so probably overexposed, but that's what got them their money in the beginning. And they probably took that mentality to leverage trading. And initially, if you think about, if you started in August, you're making big money. If you started in July, you're making big money. Even if you do it conservatively, you're making big money, especially if you have size from all those gains from the meme coin trading. So now they're all wiped out because the people that were overexposed, they got knocked out on Friday, even if you were 3x, 5x. And so I think right now is kind of like, okay, how do we reset? Where do we go? What do we, how can we do this? Do we go back to meme coin trading? So the market's trying to figure things out. You do have your traders that shorted and they made money, and they're still making money because they're staying short every time there's a pump. But I think eventually they're going to get wrecked too.
Yeah, unless what they saw in the chart to make them go short at the all-time high makes them go short, making maybe go long at 106, right, or 107, wherever like the market feels like it wants to take us down. Because that's kind of what I'm seeing from a lot of traders as well. I was listening to Frankie Candles yesterday, and he was saying like his he has an order at like 107.5, buy order, right? So that's kind of where he wants to go long at, and but he's still short. He's still short until then. So his short closes at 108 and his buy opens at 107.5. So, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But let's kind of get into our main topic of today: Solana versus BNB, liquidity war that could reshape crypto. So we do know that BNB was coming in reckless. About 2 weeks ago, they were the talk of the town. Solana was really getting beaten up. Solana launchpads volumes have reached their lowest in 50 weeks, and I got a chart to show you here. So this is kind of what we're seeing for the launch pads. Pump Fund's still leaving. I don't know what Sugar is, but Sugar took that second place, and then Bonk Fund. But this is pretty bad. Or is this good for the space? Honestly, I don't know if it's. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's going over to BNB, so it's the same situation, just different KOLs, right? But one thing that some of these Solana diehards are starting to get really upset with, because I've been checking out the trenches the past couple of days, because we've had some conversations that if the market does rebound here, then trenches is an area that probably opportunity, right? But I think some of these Solana diehards are getting frustrated with Elon and Pump Fund because they see a $45 million airdrop from the BNB, CZ and the BNB side to their users, and they've been waiting on an airdrop from Pump Fund forever. So it goes back to kind of, does Pump Fund, does Solana really cherish their user base? Right out the gate, you see BNB did it. They did a $45 million airdrop. They didn't have to do that. They already kind of won over the short-term sentiment market. So Solana needs to wake up, and those builders, they need to give back to the users and make them feel like they, actually care about them, or maybe they don't. And if they don't, then you won't see any give back.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, this happened yesterday. BNB Chain and Fort Meme launched a $45 million reload airdrop. So if you used PancakeSwap in the last 2-3 weeks, if you used, any type of thing with BNB, you pretty much potentially have an airdrop of BNB in your wallet. I didn't participate, so I didn't get anything. Did you see anybody on the timeline talking about they got this airdrop at all?
I didn't really see too much, just the news of it. And they didn't say they were going to do it all at once. So it's going to be kind of split up. So you'll probably see it trickle in with the posts.
But still, though, 45 million across, the amount of value that we've seen over the last 2 weeks, that's pretty much, that's like one meme coin, right? I mean, maybe a couple. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're talking market caps, but if you're talking straight liquidity, I mean, again, they didn't have to do this, Yeah. So they're one up for sure against Solana right now, because Solana has done nothing recently, right? You can go back to like Radium a long time ago or whatever, Jupiter and all that stuff, but we're talking about what have they done for them recently whenever there's hard times right now. You know what I mean? There's people are trying to, get into something that's about to get going, but they need probably some liquidity help with that. Plus it's just an injection too for the space. So it can just get the space going, right? So Solana definitely needs to do something. Maybe they're just being patient and trying to strategize very carefully. But I will say Pump Fund and Elon, they really need to get on that, give back tour, because they have not started at all.
Yeah. And then you've seen Solana recorded the largest 24-hour stablecoin inflow yesterday among L1 and L2. So stablecoins are pouring on the Solana, and they're just sitting there. They're not going into DeFi. Solana has, I think it's like almost like 80 or 90 billion in stablecoins just sitting flat from USDC and USDT, just kind of sitting there and not really moving. And obviously they have USD1 there now too. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, but is Solana getting ready to deploy at this point?
Maybe, right? I mean, they have onboarded a lot of stable coins in the past as well. I mean, we've seen a lot of USDC headlines, being deployed there. So I hope so. And I know I give Solana a lot of slack, and more specifically Pump Fund. But I will say, I did venture over to BNB last week, and launch pads that are thriving are the same. They're the same.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of it, just different KOLs. They can say that like we hold more over here. No, I think like you're in a high liquidity environment right now with some KOLs that can put together a couple $100 million tokens. But and I wasn't deep in any groups or anything like that. But in fact, I actually prefer Solana, and I'll be the first to admit, like I Pump Fund and stuff, I have talked badly about because of the experience and stuff. But I will say, if you're going to talk about trenches in general, it's a better experience because of the wallet, the chain speed, and the tools. Like you get stuck in a trade on BNB and you can't get out. If it's fast moving, you're done. Even if your first attempt was you were going to be in profit, so.
What if you jack the Gwei up though?
You could obviously do that and then jump the line and all that stuff. So there's tricks to it. It's a lot easier to do on Solana, but they're gonna make it easier on BNB because they'll create bots. So that's like the photons, the axioms. Those are probably being fired up as we speak. And photons,
I think it's the problem.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's your problem is when you're over on Solana, you're using the tools, right? When you're over on BNB, you're using a naked wallet. Because I had the same issues with Phantom Wallet that you mentioned when I'm trying to get out of a trade, but that's because I'm using Phantom Wallet, right? But so I think it's a wallet issue in not having the GMGN and stuff. Were you using GMGN and stuff like that, or were you just using MetaMask?
No, I was using MetaMask, but I've used straight Phantom Wallet too, and it's different. Like Phantom Wallet, I can try 3 times. On the third time, I get through. Second time, maybe,
Yeah.
or third time. On BNB, I was like on attempt number 10. And so like
Okay.
I would adjust a little bit this and
Yeah,
that.
you're
So
right.
it's just it's not as friendly, but they'll get it there if they realize that will be a hurdle, a friction point for people not to stay there or whatever. They'll just have these these platforms created and stuff like that. So
Yeah, 100%. And we do know GMGN is Asian based, so for them not to build it for that, it's probably not the thing. And same thing with Axiom. I think Axiom is also Asian based, so Asian founders. But yeah, I'm sure it's coming for BNB for sure. All right,
well, they
anything left
use
on this topic? Go, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say they use Telegram bots a lot with the Asian community. So they'll use like a Telegram bot, and that's
Gotcha.
how they get in quickly and all that stuff. So it's just the Western side not being as like educated on how they have the advantage over there versus how the Western side has its advantage on Solana. But
Gotcha.
yeah, and my last thing to say about this is that there's a couple big accounts that trade a lot in the trenches, and went over to BNB. They got a bit wrecked, and they badmouthed kind of BNB, and they went back to Solana, and they said, oh, I'm doing pretty good over here, basically. But then yesterday went back to BNB, and I feel like that's a pretty clear sign that like liquidity has definitely been concentrated on BNB. And but I do think that Solana is probably trying to figure out something right now, because Solana is a force, obviously, and we'll see what their plan is.
Yeah, 100%. So you said you were over in the trenches. So for me, I'm in like a rock and a hard spot here, because like I don't think we're going to get like any type of volume over there until we get a runner, but we need a runner to get the volume. So I'm thinking I don't want to miss that runner, but I also don't want to trade too early. Is that anything how you're thinking of it right now? Like I feel like right now it's very choppy. I'm looking at the deck screener and stuff like that during the day, and I'm just like everything over there just seems not like it's not going to be here in 3 days. Are you seeing that as well, or do you see potentially we can get a runner very soon?
I think the runner is going to come from something that is launched in this period that we're talking about, like since over the weekend till today.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be one that like builds up holder counts and builds up some sort of like unity type conviction. I got into something that I'm just kind of chilling on right now, but everything is super high risk in the trenches. Everybody knows that. So it's more of like, are you going to place your bets in some of these tokens? And I did a little bit, like, because I know that there's a high risk for it to go to zero. So I think something that's launched within this time frame is going to come out and start to build momentum once Solana does start to pick back up and get liquidity back over there, right? And so
yeah.
But I think just it's okay too to just kind of glance over, see what's happening over there, see if there's some energy happening, and then keep checking. And I was like, oh, okay, I saw that token. I was wondering about that token like 3 days ago. It's starting to pick up now. Interesting. You know what I mean? And you start to see some mentions on the timeline about it. Then that could be, because I do agree. I think that there will be another $100 million runner on Solana, but. And it probably will come out of this, because it's kind of like, how do you jumpstart the Solana ecosystem again?
Yeah.
Well, you got to give the people something to believe in.
Yeah, that's true, man. And with all that stable coins over there, it's like if all these big leaders over there, we're talking Elon and Bonk guy and stuff, they want really to kind of see people come back, and they're gonna have to go a little harder maybe with some treasury assets and kind of push some coins up to a space where people get excited again. But we'll see. Let's move along now into why the prices have been getting depleted here. Still everything's red. It's crazy. Look at my screen. Like I'm so tired of seeing this. Like red, and then just dominance and gold are the only two things green on my entire screen. Like it's hard, guys. It's hard to do a show every day. When I sit down at this desk, I sit down in my chair, I turn on my screen. The first thing I put up is my trading view, and I see this. Like, when will this stop? Like, I'm so tired of it.
Well, I you're gonna see red again like that. Even if we go on a bullish run, you'll see a day that has that, right?
I
But
feel like there's been too many days.
yeah, but yeah. So yesterday was pretty red, and today starting off red as well.
Yeah.
So I can't answer that, right? I'm not like
Yeah.
I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring, but I'm sticking to my Q4 thesis, right? I'm with Benjamin Cohen on this one, and I think that we're going to have that moment. I don't know if it's going to play out exactly how I've always thought, but
Yeah.
we will have that moment of bullishness. I just can't see the holiday seasons being just completely butchered. So
Yeah, no, I don't want to say it, but I don't know, man. As you know, we're on the second week of October here, and I don't feel it on the timeline, right? Like, I feel like I'd feel it on the timeline before it really starts to move. And even when stuff was going up last week, it felt very generic because like I didn't see like my timeline really pushing. Like, you know what I mean? I felt like I saw a couple of comments, congratulations, all-time high and stuff, but it didn't feel like 2020, like December 2020 when Bitcoin, got past, 20,000. It doesn't feel like that anymore. I don't know.
yeah, well, talk about volatility. That year was very volatile as well, but you had at
Yeah.
least, like 2 months of consecutive Jubilee and then
Yeah.
break and then okay, and then another 2 months of Jubilee or a month and a half to kind of get to that November date. But yeah, I do think that we do get that though. I think we get that sense of like, celebration. But yeah, the 126 was it was like those all-time highs that I hate. I always talk about,
Yeah.
tags it and
Yeah.
then says, okay, I'll see you later type of
Yeah,
situation.
that's it. Yeah, that's really exactly what happened. So, the reason we dipped from yesterday from 115 was obviously, Trump came at China. China didn't retaliate at all. They didn't say anything back, nothing. And then yesterday, one of their leaders were on an interview in the Chinese media, and he basically said, we're going to fight to the end with this. He's like, we're not going to let the U.S. bully us anymore. And it really sounded like, maybe we are the bully. I don't know. How do you feel about this? I know it's macro talk and we're not macro show, but it's something that's going to be pushing our markets in a direction we don't want it to go until this is over. But how do you see this playing out? Is this just a negotiation tactic here?
So I try not to take these headlines at face value because I just know that there's so many things happening behind the scenes between
Yeah.
both countries and other countries that not even in the headlines that are involved with this probably as well. And so it's obvious, at face value that there's this tariff situation that has caused a lot of tension and friction, and both countries involved want to be number one, right? One has been number one for a long time. The other one wants to be in that number one spot. So, um, public, both of them want the public to be on their side too. By the way, because
Yeah.
they want, we need the world to think we're the good guy. They're the bad guy, and so I think there's just so much into it. But I guess until this tariff stuff starts to like get normalized, we should probably expect this type of situation. There's going to be like a meeting between the two. I think soon. I'm
Beginning of the
curious
month.
how
Yeah.
that's going to go. We had the Fed talking today too, and so I mean, but this administration, I have to think that they like he wants like the holiday, like to finish the year in a positive, like type of situation for all markets, the
Yeah.
stock market and the crypto market as well, because they're heavily involved with that as well in terms of wanting to make it, strong. So I don't know, man. I will say this: if this year doesn't give us like some sort of strong finish to the year, I'm gonna be really taking a step back in terms of how I view our industry and just probably see like what it would take for things to get back with consistency, because that's the big thing, that's the variable that's missing right now, is there's no consistency. And the markets hate not being not
Yeah.
knowing what's going to happen.
I mean, I know the variable. I think we both know the variable. It's quantitative easing. We're still tightening the economy. We're still going into the market and selling bonds. right? There is no liquidity in the market still, and that is the one thing that's different from the last two bull runs. Until we get quantitative easing, I don't think we're going to be in a place of up. That's why I'm thinking I'm kind of thinking that the Q4 sideways. I think we kind of have a bullish back end of December, but I think January and February are going to be very bullish. In that sense, I just can't see us having without quantitative easing. I just can't see us having a very bullish Q4.
Yeah, well, hopefully we go into that, right?
Yeah.
He started one part of it, the rate cut, so we need him
We're in
to
a rate cutting cycle.
Yeah, he needs to finish the rest, but again, probably not the biggest fan of the current administration either.
No, not at all. So another reason why we're down today is this is some FUD I saw you on the timeline kind of talking about, but the U.S. government moved 75 million worth of Bitcoin to a new wallet right before the Fed chair's speech today. I don't know what this is about, but they're kind of related, people are saying. But they moved I mean, it's a very, very small amount compared to what they had in there. They did a test move first, which I like. I'm glad they sent $100, and then they went and sent 667 Bitcoin over there, so which is valued at $75 million. But any speculation on this? I know we don't know, but it doesn't seem to be a Coinbase Prime wallet. It doesn't seem like it's a Coinbase account. That's how they used to sell it anyway, through Coinbase and Coinbase Prime. But right now it's just kind of moved to another wallet. Are they getting ready to buy some ordinals?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're preparing for the pizza rune deployment on RadFi today at 4 p.m. They missed the pre-sale, so they're just like, dude, we missed the pre-sale. We got to get in as soon as it hits secondary market. No, but I am wondering if they're trying to maybe I don't know what they would have to do, but I don't know if they would put some of the Bitcoin to work. I mean, obviously there has to be some sort of guardrails for that, right? For them to get approval for that.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they put it to work in some yield situation. I don't know. I'm just guessing right now.
I'm thinking this is the beginning of the reserve, and this is the new wallet that's going to be potentially. I think this might be a hardware wallet of some kind, and they're just kind of they don't want to send it all in one move, so they're just doing it. We might see over the next couple months that they kind of split the Bitcoin up into 4, 5, 6, 7 different hardware wallets, and maybe 75 million per wallet or something like that. I think having this much in one wallet is especially when ran by the government, when you don't know who holds the keys and stuff, right? You don't want to give too many people the keys. Maybe you don't trust certain people. I don't know. But I mean, anything can happen, right? That person can go to jail, but then, sitting on $40 billion worth of Bitcoin. But at the same time, I do think that this is the beginning of a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and they're actually getting ready for that in multiple hardware wallets, potentially.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? That would be some bullish news if they officially announced that. But I'm sure that the opposition would come out really hard if that's the case, saying that,
well, I mean, you're not buying
it.
You're not buying it, right? You're just saying, hey, we're locking this up, and this is going to be reserved, because they have already said they're going to stockpile on crypto, all this stuff. The only words they haven't said was the actual words, strategic Bitcoin reserve. But if they're just locking this up, let's just say, in, I don't know, a new foundation that they've set up over the last couple of months to kind of make sure that Bitcoin is good, and maybe they do some type of multi-sig with multiple government officials in high spots and something like that, to where you need to move it, you need to get. So I think they're getting their security together for something like this, even if it's possible. Maybe using this as a testing period.
Yeah, it would be a good headline, I would think.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's just smart on their part if this is the case too. But it's you did see. So I started it was you said something in the comment, but you are seeing the bears come out right now, the people who are short, and you can tell they're all short because they're pushing this heavy, because this is a non-issue, and they're trying to push it as actually an issue.
Yeah, they're phrasing it to mislead the public, which is horrible. So irresponsible, because they're saying that they're selling. And some people don't check and see if it's just a transfer or not.
Yeah, 100%. Or Coinbase, all Coinbase wallets are public, right? So it would say Coinbase. So we've seen it before. We've seen when Biden was sending Bitcoin to Coinbase. We've seen it said Coinbase wallet. Like, all Coinbase wallets are public for anyone to kind of see it. So Let's move along though. So we got some potential good news in the cards here. So people, some bigger traders, they follow this thing called the CME Gap. It's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or CME, and it has gaps in the chart sometimes because of they only trade from 8 in the morning to 4 p.m. at 4 p.m. Eastern time, right? So, or maybe 9:30 to 4, because they're on the stock market, right? But they have a futures here, and you can see that sometimes there's gaps in between, like the close for the weekend and then the pop up, right? And you saw the same thing here. But people say, hey, those gaps always get filled. And a lot of people were wondering when that gap was getting filled, and that gap just got filled today. So we are kind of back to kind of where we were. The futures never actually dipped. So the futures were closed during that dip on Friday. So they didn't dip because when it reopened on Monday, we seen basically normalcy again. So it's one of those things where, obviously it's a 4 hour, but yeah, so we only saw a wick down to 113. That's kind of where it closed on Friday, and then it kind of opened back up. But how do you feel about the CME gaps? I know it's not something we both follow, but it does look here anyway that these gaps are getting filled.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it's going to match like that opposite side before the gap on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, well, because that means that it would have further down to go, like a asymmetrical kind of pattern on the other side, and then that would be the bottom, or is this going to be the bottom, basically?
I think it's the bottom. I think
we're close enough. We're close enough, right? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, what happens from here.
Yeah. Hopefully we get a bounce out of this gap and get back to 135. 135 would be really nice, but only time will tell. So we were supposed to get some economic data tomorrow, but that data has been moved because of the government shutdown. So instead of getting the CPI tomorrow, we're actually going to get it the 24th, which is 10 days from today. So Friday, October 24th, we're getting the CPI, and then the PPI potentially that following Monday on the 25th. But it really doesn't matter because the 30th or the 29th is actually when we're getting the Fed meeting. So as long as we get that data before the Fed meeting, I think we're good. But now we're going to get it the same week as the Fed meeting. So that week's could be pretty volatile. How do you feel about that? And on top of that, we do have Fed chairman speaking in about 50 minutes. Jerome Powell speaks at 12:20 on the economic outlook and monetary policy. So people are going to be watching this and get dovish. This could be what pumps the markets. So honestly, if I'm hearing that the government shutdown is really kind of pushing the markets down, not markets, but like just general economy down.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of something that would be nice and a pleasant surprise if he comes out and speaks a little, well, not necessarily even dovish, but this is the plan of action that we're, trying to inject some energy into the economy or something, right? But also with the government shutdown, I wonder what that reporting is going to be like on Friday, right? Like, is it going to be different than normal? Because is it the same people handling it? Is it,
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Everyone's still working. No one's getting paid. So it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like it's going to be different people. Like everyone's supposed to be working. Like you can't, if you can't just say, hey, you're not paying me something. That's not how it works. You're under contract, right? So it's not like a strike in any way.
Yeah, but obviously they don't typically last that long, the government shutdowns, right? And so they're probably not used to like not getting paid for a certain amount of time, right? So they probably don't feel good about doing their job. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what type of data comes out Friday, leading into, we are in Q4. So I feel like everybody's turned around right now. You just kind of like, where are we? We're in Q4. What's happening? Market crashes. What's going on? Government shutdown. Okay.
Oh, all-time high. Yay. Oh, no. Crap. Now liquidity crash.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's just chaos everywhere. It can be, some could be good, and then some could be bad, but it's just like, you don't. And I think that's been the biggest struggle of our industry, and even the stock market at times. I know stock market hit all-time highs and stuff for like, these strong assets like the S&P and stuff like that. But it was even them, when they would pull back, sometimes it'd be volatile, right? So we just need some just like, hey, this is how it's going to be for a while type of energy. You know what I mean? And we just haven't got that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's not fun, but we'll see. Year to date, Bitcoin is traded like a stock, not digital gold. So I have this cool chart here that's just kind of showing gold on a rampage move, and Bitcoin is not. Like we're seeing Bitcoin trade like the S&P, like a tech stock. Obviously, the S&P is a lot more stable than Bitcoin because Bitcoin likes to go up, but eventually meets it back down. Likes to go up, but eventually meets it back down. Even drops under and then comes back. But we're just seeing gold right now just absolutely destroy Bitcoin. Is Peter Schiff right? Should we just sell the Bitcoin and buy gold at this point? I mean, Dan, look at this. Let's look at this thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the beginning of that chart, though, that's whenever like they were opposites. But then whenever it picks up right there, it's like mimics it almost like step by step, almost obviously a little delayed for the Bitcoin side.
Mm-hmm.
You just shift that backwards a bit, right? And so what we're seeing right now is obviously kind of back to that beginning of the chart where it's like not following gold anymore because you have that volatile like pop up like at the end of the Bitcoin chart, at the end of it, that volatile pop up, which I don't see that happen. That didn't happen on gold. Yes, gold started going up, but then
here,
yeah, but I mean that's like I don't know. I just feel like that like if you looked at like where you just were with gold and you go straight down to the right a little bit, no, you're right with the gold first part. Go put your and then go down to the Bitcoin chart, straight down though. Okay, straight down to the right, 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 up. That matches that area. No, to the left.
This right here?
No, the one on Bitcoin. Up. Yeah, there you go. Left. The whole section before that. The whole section before that. The whole section. Yes. That area right there. That matches what that was up there. So you can see that that's kind of where the delay is. So gold hit that high before, and then it was delayed and big. There you go. That's exactly where I was trying to get you to go.
Okay.
Yeah. And so if you were to say, okay, well, this peak that we just saw with Bitcoin going up there is matching way back in gold, it doesn't make sense. You get what I'm saying? If you're trying to see where the time delay is, where it's following it. So where we are at the end of the Bitcoin chart is just completely not following gold anymore. It's completely off.
It's almost like manipulated at this point, right? Like especially because it did look like we were about to start. It did look like we're about to finally start. But if you're right, if you put this right here, that takes 3 months. So September, October, July, June. So 4 months. And if we're here, so then February, we should be like around here. So we should actually start this November, December, and then kind of peak. And I mean, this has a peak, so it's still an all-time high, but continuously top blasting here up to this point. So I don't know, but it does feel like we're exactly the same as the tech stocks. Or like Bitcoin is a tech stock, it's not digital gold.
Yeah, I mean,
for now,
I think this was the year that people said it got kind of put in that class, but yeah, for now we'll see what happens down the line. But I don't know, man. I feel like if you think about like the currency wars and the global type of situations that are happening right now, like I feel like the US kind of put their cards out too much about crypto. You know what I'm saying? And Bitcoin. Because like if you wanted to hurt the US, what would you go after?
Their bonds.
Okay, their bonds and
sell down the bonds.
And probably Bitcoin and crypto. You know what I mean?
No, I don't feel like you're hurting the US. I feel like you're hurting the president. I don't feel like you're hurting the United States. You know what I mean? Like we've destroyed crypto on our own just by coming out on Friday and saying we're going to tariff China. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like,
that was a market thing too. Like that affected the entire markets, and it does whenever he says that, right? But I'm just saying, what's been one of the largest initiatives, right? Like for this administration, it is to get like he said it multiple times, be the #1 in the world at digital assets and stuff like that. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying, and then
I think you try to beat them. Then that could be. You would try to beat them. You wouldn't try to destroy crypto because they're not like it, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, they're buying a crap ton of gold. Is all I'm saying. That's what they're holding on. They're clinging on to gold right now. Like all the countries right now, they're just And so I don't know. It's just a thought. I'm not saying it's going to happen because we still have the largest consumer markets. We have the largest financial markets. So we have the power, but we got to
Yeah.
be smart about it.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's get into some crypto fear and greed here. Get that chart up, grab the banner. All right, so last week we're at a 62 last Tuesday, which is crazy to me that we were at an all-time high last Tuesday. Yesterday we were at a 40. We're a little tiny bit higher than yesterday's 40. Where do you think we're at? We're still neutral though. Out of fear.
42.
Boom, got it.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? 40's fear and 42 is neutral. Like I feel like that's I don't know. What's 41? Like you know what I mean?
Probably neutral. Probably neutral. So
Yeah.
you probably break out of fear. That's the threshold. There's like 40 is the last fear score.
Yeah. What are you thinking? Do you think we go lower tomorrow or higher?
I'm gonna say higher just because like we're pretty low right now, right?
Man, I did not think October was gonna show 40s. Like I'm so tired of the crypto fear greed. Like I hate it. I hate looking at it every day. But let's jump into the Bitcoin price action and crypto bubbles brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, they're building something pretty cool. We're doing a show with them later today. They're building a leverage trading market over on Botonic. So if you guys trade over there, potentially you're going to get the biggest Bitcoin airdrop ever by the Botonics chain. That is one of the biggest opportunities in my opinion here. If you are interested in competing here, they are saying that they're going to give away $5,000 to first place and then $5,000 to second to fifth. If you're interested in doing that, all you got to do is get over $100, $104 at this point to get in on that. P&L wise. So if you're interested in trading that, head over to Artura.finance today. We have a tutorial on our page walking you through how to get USD and how to make the trade and stuff. So if you're interested in that, you can search that up on our channel. But yeah, definitely check out Artura.finance.
Yep. Those guys are definitely working hard. Excited for what they're going to be rolling out and announcing. But before we get into some Bitcoin price action, guys, help us out on the YouTube side. Smash that like, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on. And on the X side, let's share the space. You guys have been showing up, especially during these hard times on X. So we appreciate you guys for sharing the space. And then Abstract as well. Love you guys over there. And then Twitch, Kick, and Rumble, plus Spotify. Let's get into some price action right here. Let's take a look here. We got some comments in the chat. Keep putting them in there, guys. Shizzy's going to hit them on a roll call after this, but let's jump into some price action here for Bitcoin on the hour chart. So looks like we came all the way down here and kind of had that asymmetrical. This looks very similar to that CME gap pattern that you showed earlier, but on the hour chart, looks like we, pretty much came back to where we were before we had that bounce back on Sunday evening, right? But it does look like we could be experiencing another situation, maybe not as aggressive to the upside over here, but it does look like the setup is pretty good for Bitcoin. The MACD is showing that it's pretty much coming to an end. Obviously, we've seen these things kind of reversed, stopping its tracks, depending on like a headline or anything. But I really do like the way it looks here. This fast line needs to cross over that orange slow line on the MACD, and then that will be a technical switch over of momentum from sell to buy. So something to keep your eye on here for the next 2, 4, 6 hours there. And then the stochastics heading to overbought territory. You want to see this clear the 80-point mark here, and then get to that 100 plus and really hang up here. Something like this is something would be really good to see. If we see something like this, that's not good, right? So just very quickly up and down. So we want to see the stochastics hang up here around the 95 to 100 point mark. But Bitcoin looks like it wants to get a bit aggressive here. You can see this candle on the hour looks pretty good. See where we are. Pull some data. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that is better. Let's open this up here. Yeah, so we're looking pretty good in this area, 112, right? Really thin liquidity. We have the buyers kind of coming in here, but we do lose that power over here, or that I guess you could say that position of support to resistance at the right below the 112 mark. So we need to stay up here and have some large buy bids come in and continuously push us up. That would be something really good to see. This will probably change over time if this continually pushes up, though. That's really this area right here. The one right under the 112 all the way to like the 111,800 is the area where we're not really in control. Resistance is more in control in these areas. So if we can stay away from this, that would be really good. But it definitely looks strong right now. And we got about 16 minutes until this candle is completed. So I like the setup that we're in right now. We'll see if we can continue this momentum for the rest of the day. The 4-hour doesn't look as good because it's showing that the buy pressure is closing up. But if we do get an aggressive push up here, let's say we get to 113 and it pushes through and creates those new levels, right? Then we could see this pop back open and then the stochastics head back to the overbought territory. We would need the MACD to kind of open back up, but these are 4-hour candles, right? So you have to, imagine. So looks like we're about to finish this first green 4-hour candle here in about 15 minutes. So, maybe we get a start to another rise up like this bust back open. So it's something I'm paying attention to. That 1-hour chart's definitely going to have to get aggressive for that to happen, in my opinion. But we shall see. Setups are good on the hour. 4-hour could be better because I feel like it's showing exhaustion. So we need that aggressive punch from that hour time frame, in my opinion, to reopen this and make this look strong again. The daily looks bad. It looks bad. We need this to start getting broken down here for Bitcoin. So if you're a swing trader, then probably would want to wait till you see some of this break down and show weakness here, because it's still looking pretty strong on the daily chart for Bitcoin and the MACD, and we haven't been in oversold territory for very long here, right? Now today could be a day that this starts to crack, but we'll see some of the lighter red candles first, and then you can kind of maybe see where there could be a good swing entry opportunity. But right now, if you're a swing trader, you're probably like, okay, I'm going to wait until this calms down a bit and show some cracks in the daily chart here, which it hasn't just yet. So short term could be that hour chart give you some good insight possibly. The 4-hour chart needs to open back up, but that swing time frame, I love to use the daily chart for that, right? Because it gives me a kind of a zoomed out look of the health of Bitcoin right now, and it's saying that it's still in seller mentality. Ethereum, very similar situation. Looks good on the hour. Probably the 4-hour is going to look very similar to where it's green, exhausted. Yep, exactly. So just kind of what I said about Bitcoin, except for a little bit delayed. That's about it. If you go to the daily, same thing here. Yeah, so it's a little bit less in the sell pressure strength on Ethereum, but it just opened back up down. So I guess you could say it's kind of similar because it is showing that, and then you can see this fast line just almost pointing down again. So yeah, right now it might be just best to kind of pay attention to these daily charts if you're wanting to know where Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be in the next 3, 5, 7 days. So not looking the best on the daily. We have some hope on the shorter time frame charts. That's what I'm seeing here for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Looking at the crypto bubbles, it's not pretty at all, but sometimes it be that way. And we are looking at like a 90%, maybe 95% pull back to 10% green, maybe 5% green. Really, you see BNB pulling back 5.7%, sitting at $1,200. So that's down from like 1,300, I think, was kind of that all-time high area. Crypto.com Crow is down 4.5%. Cardano down 3.6%. So we're looking at a 3 to 5% pullback for the major blue chips. Really, Near Protocol down 4%, Atom down 3.8%, Pepe down 5%, Aerodrome down 5.2%. You got SPX, so the memes over here down 4.5%. You got Co-AI up 14.5%, and Tau. What do those two have in common? They're both AI tokens, right? So
AI is hot right now, dude. Like, it's not just them. If you look across the board under AI is one of the most bought up products right now.
Yeah, so AI is definitely staying hot, right? So shout out Hustle. That could be definitely something that they benefit. I'm sure it will be something they benefit as well from. You see XPL here, Plasma finally seeing some breathing room here. Not much, 0.9%.
47 cents, dude.
Yeah,
Insane.
yeah. And then you got Meme Core up 1.4%. That has been a kind of a one of the main characters this year cycle. It's definitely done well. And let's see, Curve Finance up 1.8%. Let's see if there's anything in the top 200 here. H. This has to be a BNB meme coin that recently came in or something. It's up 50% here. Be careful with this one. You don't want to buy that top. But you got Syrup here, which is part of Maple. It's a token from Maple's up 9.6%. You got Mix finally seeing some green. Some of these coins are weird. They're red when everything else is green and green when everything else is red. But it is pulled up 10.6%. Useless actually bouncing back. It had a big dump the other day. Got down to 310 million. It's back to 428. So I think maybe the bonk guys are just all in. They're like, we need one savior token, and they're choosing useless, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. And we mix. I don't know what that is. It seems interesting, but I mean, yeah, man. Definitely look into that. But yeah, get into the next thing here, which is the roll call. So every single day we take the first name of the comments, and it is Tim Baker. So I know on YouTube it's not showing Tim Baker, but I have Tim Baker here. This was the first that he said, here we go, at 10:04 p.m. last night. So I'm gonna include that because I did get in this morning before it got reaped. So Tim, you got lucky. I apologize to Bitcoin is Truth, but it is looking like Tim Baker won because I can only go by what I see, and I see Tim Baker won. But shout out to you, my friend. But you have your 18th win of the year. Congratulations to you. We got Arita TV here, my guy. Appreciate you. He says GM gold to an all-time high. Dude, going all in on gold beginning of the year is probably like the best bet. Gold was like 2,600, and today it's like 42. I mean, I guess you could say something about Ethereum, right? Because Ethereum was like in March was like 1,300, and now it's like 40 or 4,000.
Different story, but same similar opportunity in that moment, right?
Yeah, 100%. But one's a $20 trillion asset, and the other one's a $500 million asset. So I think that's a difference.
Billion.
500 billion. Yeah. And then we have Tim Baker again. Hydro Sapien is here. ASAP Benji, Webdro, Bitcoin is Truth, Vader Time. So what's up, guys? Satoshi Nakamoto is here. Lackey Lukey, appreciate you, my friend. He said, "Congrats, Bitcoin is Truth." No, congrats, Tim Baker. Lucky Tim Baker. But Spindrift is here. K99, my guy. Chips and Tips said, "Buy the dip." Is this a buying dip? The opportunity? Do you think, or do you think that maybe? We might get lower. Might get lower from here.
I think this goes back to that saying of like, if you truly have conviction, then you know, and it's pulled back, then it doesn't matter. You can DCA at multiple points.
100%. Abstract is here. Shout out to Abstract, my guy. Appreciate you. Chief Axel is here. Mempool Punk, my guy. It's been a while. Appreciate you, my friend. Myself is here. He says my altcoin stack keeps growing. The dollar value has been sideways all year, though. So you're adding to your positions, but your positions are getting. Yeah, I mean that's the way to do it. That's how you're gonna win, right? Just don't, just keep doing what you're doing and keep stacking, 100%. Stan says Solana Seeker. I think Stan has like 9 of these phones, bro. I think he's all in. He's trying to sell them higher. Stan says, "Who's screwing up the bull run?" Thanks. It seems like our president Donald Trump is. Stan says, "Wow, January, February bullish. If first quarter next year, will retail be around?" I think retail comes in once we get some easing, bro. I don't know. Like there's two things that to me we don't have right now. That is the reason why we don't have a bull run right now is because we don't have quantitative easing, and we do not have the dollar is still strong. The dollar needs to be weak. We need a weak dollar, and we need quantitative easing. Usually one comes with the other, but right now we don't have either of them. So as long as we need a dollar drop below 96, and we need we need quantitative easing where the Fed's coming in and buying bonds out of the market.
Yeah.
All right, we got it. Webdro again. He says, "I care not who controls a nation's affairs, so long I control her currency." Mayor Rothschild. I don't know. I guess part of the Rothschilds, the dynasty.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a statement that would be made by that family.
Yeah.
For sure.
They can, yeah, 100%. Cash Cats is here with the coffee and the donuts and the dog. Go to the moon. Shout out to Cash Cats, the legendary one himself. He says 2 coffees was a long night for me. Yeah, man. I have 2 coffees to start. How many coffees do you have in the morning? I have one at like
Too
7 and
many.
another one at like 9. Yeah. And Tim Baker finishing out with a hey, congratulations to you again. Being first is first of today. But let's jump into some banners. So as I was as you're doing the price action, I did come across something that could be the reason why the US moved those Bitcoins. So there's a lot of stuff here. Okay. So the US DOJ to add 127,000 Bitcoin to its crypto holdings seized from a major pig butchering scam case, the largest crypto confiscation in US history. So the US is about to have a whole bunch of new Bitcoin, and now people on the timeline are saying that's why they moved the 75 million to this new wallet. So when they add this, it's going to a new wallet that, you know, it's not controlled by anyone from previous departments. So that could have been a testing wallet for this new I mean, we're talking, dude, I don't even know how much that is. What's that? Like $30 billion? Or I think it's like 30 billion.
I don't know, but that's interesting. A pig butchering scam. Okay.
Why do they have so much Bitcoin? Is the first.
I think that's where the scam part comes in.
Well, people are like, hey,
14
billion?
billion. 14.3
Okay.
billion, yeah.
So this will take the US way ahead of China at this point, adding this to it. So that actually could be why we moved the Bitcoin today too. Maybe we moved it to a test wallet. And then you're going to add this amount of Bitcoin to it. So I mean, that could be it. I don't know. But yeah, we just got US got more Bitcoin. So but let's move along here. Okay, this is scary, interesting. Okay, so Metaplanet market to Bitcoin MNAV has dropped to 0.99, meaning its enterprise value now trades below the value of its Bitcoin holdings. This was an article from CoinDesk, and they're basically saying, hey, you know, with Metaplanet dropping 12% in the last couple of days, they are now lower. So buying the company is actually cheaper than buying their Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about that for a second.
The Sailor and all them, they're not going to let Metaplanet fail in this situation. They're going to, you know, try to assess what's happening. Because if Metaplanet ends up failing here, and you know, they're going to have to force sell their Bitcoin when they're under 1. That's the deal, right? And so, I mean, what are they at 0.99? So
0.99, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this is something that I'm pretty sure can be fixed pretty quickly.
Yeah. Naka is actually trading at 0.95, another Bitcoin company. This is the one ran by the Bitcoin Magazine guys.
Yeah.
We're saying like, so you're basically saying now you could buy Metaplanet and get a free amount of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Yeah. Which
You know
they
what I
don't
mean?
want,
Like,
but they don't want to do. That's like the worst nightmare for them.
yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen here, but like, how can Michael Saylor save them? Michael Saylor he has more debt than money. Like, you know what I mean? He can
not necessarily Sailor, but you know, the people that don't like would not want to see Metaplanet like go down, right? So, like, I'm sure that there's all types of conversations and meetings happening to make sure, because like Metaplanet's huge in terms of like the Bitcoin treasury
yeah.
industry, right? If a giant like that goes down, that could be detrimental for Bitcoin and for the rest of the companies for short term, not long term necessarily, but like still, it's just going to be not good, all right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I don't know, is there an OTC deal about to happen? You want to see BlackRock come in and purchase this because it's a win for them if they do.
Yeah, wouldn't they love that?
I know, dude. I'm just saying, like, but I don't know, man. It's getting, yeah. This could be something that we have to pay attention to right now. We have to make sure that you know, this could crash the markets a little bit for a little while. If they do go under and have to potentially sell some of this Bitcoin down, they'll probably still do OTC deal to kind of make sure that the price doesn't actually affect. But I don't know, getting kind of scary for these treasury companies. This is the second biggest one, Bitcoin one anyway. I mean, obviously we have Ethereum ones, but yeah, we have really smart people like Tom Lee ahead of that one. But are we going to see more of this as Bitcoin kind of just goes sideways right now?
I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like Bitcoin's not really that low. You know what I mean? For them to be in the position, obviously, unless they kept unloading at like 115 to like 120. You know what I mean? But maybe we start to see some of that. But good thing that like the alt ones haven't gone absolutely crazy yet, because I think they would be like like they're the ones that probably freaking out if they like were knee deep in a lot of these more riskier assets. So maybe good that like even the ETFs and these DATs, because I think once the ETFs come out, the DATs will try to take advantage of that. Whichever ones were ETFs that got approved, they'll make treasury companies of those stronger, riskier assets, or I guess you could say stronger ones in that next level of risk class.
I think that's actually drop off a cliff when we get the ETFs. Like, why would you invest in some of these DATs when you can actually get the underlying asset and redeemable 1-to-1 in spot, right? So for me, it's like, why would you buy hyperliquid strategy when you can buy the hyperliquid token? It just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, but like they do it for Bitcoin and Ethereum still.
Well, they do it for Bitcoin because at the time there was no Bitcoin ETF. That's why Saylor, his stock was skyrocketing before.
But Tom Lee does it for Ethereum.
Tom Lee does it for different reasons, though. He does it for the staking mechanism, right?
Well, I mean, so a lot of these tokens
Bitcoin doesn't.
staking.
Well, I'm just saying the Bitcoin doesn't have that. So my question for you is like, are we going to see a lot of these Bitcoin ones kind of fall off a cliff? I'm not really talking about some of these other altcoin ones, because you can like you're getting 6% APY, for Tom Lee right now. So and then Solana,
I don't think
that one as well.
I don't think so, because I think they're going to be there's going to be companies that are like Merlin and like Sats Terminal and all these companies that are going to be custodians of being able to use your Bitcoin to earn, not Sats Terminal, but like the Merlin approach, right? So staking and stuff like that, right? So I know that right now these institutions probably won't jump into that, because I mean $55 million did though for Merlin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm talking about billions of dollars, right? There's a lot of risk factors that goes into that, and I don't know if there's a company that can actually get yield on that much.
So
like even Jeff has a threshold.
Yeah, but you have to crawl before you walk, right? And so when walk before you run, and I think that's those kind of numbers right now is like 55 million from institutions to be able to stake with Merlin chain. But then you talk about maybe like Coinbase coming into the game to be able to do some sort of like offering, because the United States is like as capitalistic as you can get, right? And so once this market really gets comfortable and okay, these are the rules, this is what you can do, what you can't do, you're going to see products like for this, in my opinion. How are they going to come up with them? Those people are going to figure it out, because they basically will try to find the yield and all these things, just like banks did. But and they'll probably over time continually try to squeeze out like their profits and give the smaller profits to whoever they're servicing or whatever. But I think it's obviously not going to be as aggressive as Ethereum, because it's pretty straightforward with that. Like, okay, 6%, you stake your Ethereum here. I think there is going to be a market though to earn off of your Bitcoin, and that's why I think maybe that some of these treasury companies still hang around.
But let's talk about that for a second. So the way Jeff does it is he finds new projects in the space like Falcon Finance and like Hemi, right? And he adds TVL to their chain, and then they get the airdrop, right? That's understanding crypto. That's understanding the new chains and stuff like that. And then once the chain evolves, you end up pulling your chain out and you go to the next one. You pulled out at Falcon Finance, and now you go to something down the line, like some of these perp exchanges and stuff like that, right? But you're trusting the founders. You're trusting that aspect. In the TradFi world, let's just say when BlockFi and Celsius were getting a yield for your Bitcoin, they were giving you pretty high 6-7%. What they were doing is they were dumping your Bitcoin, putting it in USDT or UST, and then staking that USDT to earn Luna. So they had this backward scheme, and that's how they both got shot in the foot, right? Is because they were going too risky with it. So I just don't see any way to really earn on your Bitcoin without getting risk up to 25%, unless like you're already DeFi capable, like someone like Jeff who's actually, you know, in the trenches every day and really understands what's going on and how to get this. Like, I don't think TradFi will ever get to that point.
Well,
you know.
Yeah, but you're talking about an era or time period that like there was no, you know, clear cut rules, which, you know, to be fair, we don't have that exactly, but we are on our way to that. And then also there's going to be chains. You know, you have the staking Bitcoin to kind of operate botanics, right? That's their whole mechanism. And so there's going to be options like that, in my opinion, in the future, right? So it's just figuring them out. And at the end of the day, people that are in this game of money, they figure out how to, the ones that have been doing it for like centuries, right? You're talking about like they know how to make money from money. And I know that like from a individual person, like a retail user, that's one of the hardest things to do. But like these guys, their institutions are based on that, right? Like the banking system, all this stuff. They will figure out ways to make it work, even if it's not the most, clean cut way to do it or whatever. They'll figure it out and make it work within the framework of the regulations. I truly do believe that. Now,
I disagree, because if that was true, then they would be able to do it with gold. And nobody's making yield off gold, and you know what I mean? Like it would be the same concept, but no one's doing it.
Yeah, but you know, I think that Bitcoin's a little different. You know, gold isn't necessarily used it's not used really as a currency. You know what I mean? But Bitcoin is way more looked at and used as a currency than gold is. Gold is basically gold is what Jamie Dimon kind of said what Bitcoin, he thought Bitcoin was, you know, pet rock. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of what gold is. You sit there and yes, it's being used in like, you know, electronics and stuff like that. But, you know, it's not being used as like the same way as Bitcoin is. Like you don't like, there's nothing that you're really going to go up to some store and buy something with like 4 ounces of gold. Right. But with Bitcoin, I can go and buy, you know, a ledger. I can go and buy ordinals. I can go and buy all these things within. There's a marketplace for it. There's an economy for it as a currency. So I think that's where the difference is, because you use those currencies to be able to kind of earn yield off of. And I'm sure there's some sort of things with gold, but it's not going to be the same, because gold is weighed in like, you know, ounces, right? It's valued in ounces and but it's like you're not going to have the exact ounce on you and all these things. Like with Bitcoin, you can, because it's digital, right? And so that's why I think that they're gonna, it's more flexible, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, but you said like go buy ordinals. I mean, ordinals are just gold chains at the end of the day, right? That's all it is. It's just, you know, so it's basically the same thing there. Like ordinal and rune and stuff, they're just gold chains. They're just, you know,
yeah, but I'm not using gold to buy gold chains though.
You
know what I
can.
mean?
You can go to gold stores, and a lot of them they take.
But who does that? No one does.
But who? Yeah, but no one does the ordinals either.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's only like 1% of the world is less than 1% of the world is buying anything with Bitcoin.
Okay, take ordinals out of it. Like you know, you can buy your Jade ledger. You can buy a lot of things, and that's going to grow more and more because people want Bitcoin.
I think it goes the other way. I think people use stable coins. I think stable coins now, who have, especially now we have rules and stuff like that. I think people stop using Bitcoin and start treating Bitcoin more like gold, and start using stable coins to kind of be in and out of things, because you know, one stable coin is backed by $1. You're not worried about, okay, is my Bitcoin going to go up tomorrow, and did I fuck up by spending $500 of it? Right now, my $500 is now $525. I think we're going to be more in a stable coin environment. There is going to be the Jack Dorsey of the world are screwed. There is not going to be, no one's going to be spending their Bitcoin to buy coffee. They're going to use stable coins, but stable coins are going to be there.
Sure. I think stable coins are going to be the most used, of course, because it's the most stable. But I guarantee you, everybody will accept Bitcoin. Because in their mind,
no one's going to be willing to give up their Bitcoin. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe not, but I'm just saying they will take it for sure. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I mean, they'll take gold too. If I walk into a store
that's not
and
the
say,
case.
hey,
no way. Like I could go to Target. I could go to Target and be like, hey, can I buy this with gold? No way, they're going to accept it.
And they say the same thing about Bitcoin. So
right now, but once those
and right now, how do you gold going to all-time high? I'm sure Costco, you can go to Costco right now with an ounce of gold, and you can sell it, and then you can go buy groceries.
Yeah, at the
They
jewelry
buy and sell
department.
at Costco. You can buy and sell gold
Okay,
at Costco.
well, that's
Buy
interesting.
an ounce of gold. It's in like a
I've ne
Costco card thing.
I've never heard of it, but I mean, that's interesting. It's still at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it's always going to be more convenient because I could use my Bitcoin to buy something from my home computer.
Well, technically,
Oh,
yeah, but
please, just
no, but
all
you're
right,
using a third
next
party.
topic.
All right, you're using a third party technically, so it's the same. All
No,
right,
it's
so
not.
Wintermute, it is. When you're selling gold, you're still you're using a third
But I
party. You're
can't
selling
put
Bitcoin, you're using a
I
third
can't put
party.
my gold into my computer and use it as a currency though.
You
Is what I'm
can
trying to
because it's
say.
running. You can use Pax Gold. It's the same thing.
Anyways, okay.
There's
So let's
digitalized
go on to the
gold.
next one.
Yeah. So when I win, Wintermute
Nope,
is
never.
sending
You
millions
never won
of
because you're always wrong.
USDT to exchanges.
I win.
This is a big deal because we haven't seen this in a while. So Wintermute is somebody whose Binance has been selling or sending crypto to for the last, I don't know, 6 months, it feels like. And we've seen them liquidate pretty much 90% of everything they held on Friday, whether that was on purpose or not, because they do have bots and stuff that run these market makers and stuff like that. But now they are sitting on a whole bunch of cash, and they're actually sending that to hot wallets. They're not sending it directly to Binance. They're sending it to the Wintermute hot wallets that have no connection. So when Binance sells or sends crypto to Wintermute, they're sending it to Wintermute's address from Binance Corp, right? And then what Wintermute does is they send it to a Binance hot wallet, that crypto, and that's how they market make, right? So right now they're sending USDT to these market making wallets. So I think there could be a huge bounce coming right now from Wintermute.
Oh, to buy up some of the dip too. Yeah, I mean that's their job, by the way. I mean, everybody just only correlates Wintermute to dumping on the markets.
Yeah.
Yes, they do that, but they also catch a lot of the knives because if they don't, then we see what happened Friday is what we see. You know what I mean? Because basically, what happened Friday was a bunch of sell orders were in, and there was no buy orders coming in because the order books were just they couldn't. There's no access, no. So this could be the case, like you said. They could come in, and repump the markets, which is kind of their job. But I mean, doing it this way is obviously not ideal. It's not, but this is kind of maybe part of that reset part that we've been talking about a little bit.
Yeah, it does feel like, something happened on Friday to where they got too much cash, because we don't see this, right? We don't see Wintermute sending USDT to these hot wallets to buy. It doesn't happen. They usually have enough in the hot wallets to begin with to kind of make the market maker, especially in a bull rise we've experienced recently in the last couple of months, especially in the Bitcoin side, because they are still like 80-90% Bitcoin when they market make, and they have everything else, but like they make the majority of their money off Bitcoin. So I think they sold too much. I think they made a mistake here, and they're actually trying to fix that mistake.
Could be.
All right. So this is something we didn't talk about last week. So according to DeFiLlama, following October 11th's flash crash, Perp DEX's open interest plunged from 26 billion to 14 billion. Okay, we knew about the Perp DEX part. So the lending protocols recorded $20 million in fees. So we didn't realize that when someone took a loan out on their ETH, took a loan out on anything, they got liquidated too. So the Aave made $20 million on Friday. So on liquidations, because the prices did bounce back. It's pretty nuts that I don't know, dude. That sucks. Imagine having a loan out on your Ethereum,
Like
and
a
being like, hey, we're
manual.
not going to hit. Yeah, well, just like an Aave loan, right?
Yeah.
To where you take out 60% of it in cash, and you're like, oh, we'll never hit that, and then it goes down and wicks down to like 31, and so you got liquidated. You lost. You took out 60%. You lost 40% of the value in that ETH.
Yeah, but I wonder if because they put it in, they worded it to where it says they recorded over 20 million in fees, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder
Liquidation is a fee.
Is it?
Yeah, it's considered a fee. How it wraps up, how much they made.
That's weird. I've never heard it in that context, but let's say it is. I'm pretty sure there's also like you know how we talked to Stan from SAS Terminal about you know, having the security layer to protect, kind of like overdraft protection in banks, right? To where that you can kind of protect yourself from liquidation. I'm sure Aave and those large you know, platforms have that as well for the huge accounts. Because yeah, I agree. I think like,
They
you
don't.
know, they don't have any type of protection situation.
No, not on Aave. It's decentralized. There is no third party to protect you. You make the you sign the contract and you abide by those rules. You know what I mean? Unless you're paying someone to stare at it for you. But in those type of liquidation
A smart
events,
contract could trigger though if
yeah,
you were in the
liquidation.
threshold. That's what I'm saying is if there was something like that, but I don't know. I'd have to look into it. If you say
There's not, from my knowledge.
okay, so let's say that they're not, you know, then if it's just straight 20 million in liquidations, I'm just confused as why they didn't word it that way, because that's how everybody else words it.
Well, I mean, the Perp DEXs, they word it also in fees. So the Perp DEXs fees were insane on Friday, right? And that was,
but was it
because
$20
of
billion of
liquidations.
fees or $20 billion of liquidations? You know what I'm
So
saying?
the liquidation, so you actually lose money too. You have to remember when something gets liquidated, it's dropping to a certain price, right?
So that's what I was trying to
Yeah,
separate the two, because there's probably a different separate amount that was liquidated as well. But I think that's
because
probably more stressful than the perps, because you got to manually do a lot of stuff in those situations.
no, I mean, not for the lending protocols. The contract automatically sells it in the pool. So
I know, but like
it's like,
if before it gets worse, you can manually go in there and close your
yeah,
loan out,
yeah.
right? So that's what I'm talking about.
You can add USDC, but in those liquidity events like we had on Friday, you use
You won't have
$1,500
time.
to use the chain, right?
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's why
that
it was
too.
so high, because it was so expensive to add money to your liquidation potential, right? So it was like oh shit. So that was one thing we didn't talk about, was a lot of these people got liquidated on their loans.
Yeah, but I it's not based off of the amount though. From what I heard, is that like the gas is based off of like it can be any amount. That's why, like, you know, it showed up $1,500 whenever you're trying to do $100. So I think the people that did have large positions would pay that $1,500 if
They
it made
were.
sense. Yeah, and just add to your collateral to protect, and some of them probably added a ton.
Yeah, I mean, you have to at that point, especially because you don't know how low you're going to go. But yeah, that was one thing I read this morning and I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think about the liquidation on the Aave loans, or the what's the other one that
Morpho.
Coinbase is using? Morpho. All right. So Tether CEO Paolo Ardoino tweeted that Tether will release the fully open source wallet development kit WDK this week, including starter wallets for iOS and Android. Earlier, Pablo reported a demo and overview of the WDK template wallet featuring full non-custodial support, multiple seed phrase backup options, and complete DeFi module covering USDT and USDTO. So what Tether did is they went and created a framework for wallet creation. And that framework is now going to be used by some of the bigger players in the space. Anyone can now pay Tether for these wallets, basically, and they will basically do everything for you. So that you'll now, like places like Walmart, places like Amazon, places like any type of retail can now just
White
use
label.
the white label. Yeah. So how big is that, do you think? Tether really opening the door here to anybody and saying, yo, you don't need to create a wallet, just use ours.
Man, if they pull this off, dude, like the founders of Tether are just geniuses from the jump. Whether you think
100%.
they're shady for their collateral or whatever the heck it is, they're just good at innovating and making more money, it seems like. Because if I'm a wallet right now, I'm just like pissed, because Tether isn't known to create wallets. And if they create this WDK, which is essentially an SDK, right? But it's for the wallet development, and they end up getting business like Walmart, like, you know, Amazon, these huge retailers, right? Then they just jumped in front of the line in front of all these wallet, you know, that could have did this, right? But that's what you get for thinking outside of the box and having a lot of collateral. And I'm sure their network has just gotten better and better, even in the United States, because now they have that stable coin that complies with everything, right? They just keep winning, dude. That's what seems
100%.
what happens.
Imagine going to Amazon. You know, you're up there and you see a little thing that says Connect Wallet, and then you connect your MetaMask wallet, and then you pay in stables. You know what I mean? How that's going to be an amazing day for me. Like when I'm able to go to Walmart.com and buy like a birthday gift, and it says Connect Wallet, and I click the Connect Wallet, my MetaMask pops up, I sign it. That's a 75 USDC or 75 PYUSD or whatever they want to take, even in their own stablecoin, Walmart stablecoin, whatever. And then I'm able to just pay that just with a stablecoin, and in seconds, it says payment complete. That is the world that I want to live in.
Well, but you know that's going to be a KYC event, but that's okay if you're okay with having the your address and all that stuff on there.
Yeah, obviously, but it's I'm just talking about the fact that I don't have to go to my bank. Like I don't have to ever, like, if I want to buy anything as myself, like completely okay with KYCing to that wallet and everything, right? I don't ever have to, send money off chain, like ever at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you look at it from an on-chain and just always want to stay on-chain, that's where that benefit will be.
I mean, if I get paid in the future and that company says, hey, do you take stable coins? Yes, because now there's no reason not to, right? If I'm able to go to, for me, we have Philadelphia Gas Works, PGW, and then I connect my wallet to pay, right? And then some people is going to figure out ways to automate those payments and stuff like that, to where, you can pre-sign for these payments to just constantly just come out, right? That's a bankless world. I no longer need a bank for anything. There's no reason for me to have a bank at that point.
When was the last time you went to the bank? I'm curious.
A couple of days ago to get something notarized, but
that's a totally different reason.
But I have to do, though. I have to send my stable coins to PayPal, and then I have to pay from PayPal to my bank, right? And
so that's I was trying to figure out where your inconvenience was, because if a regular person's listening to this right now and they don't know much about crypto and stuff, they're probably like, what? Like, my life is easy. I have, Amazon has my debit card or credit card on file, and I just order, and that's it. But if you're getting paid, so basically the industry existing is, and then you getting the stables is what kind of created that inconvenience. But now, instead of that, like, you just get the stables and you don't have to transfer anything. You don't lose any fees in between. So that's where I was always trying to figure out, like, where your angle was from that. But it makes sense because now you don't have to do all the crap in between.
Yeah, like let's just say you had $500 in stable coins in your MetaMask wallet, but you want to buy something from Walmart that was $455. What do you have to do? You have to there's a lot of inconvenience in getting that to your you know what I mean? There's a lot of steps there. There's a lot of waiting. Yeah. There's a lot of steps. I mean, it takes 30 blocks to go from my MetaMask to my Venmo.
Yeah.
Like even with PYUSD.
Yeah. So basically, the inconvenience is for people that live in our world right now, and not necessarily people that don't live in our world. But if what we think is true is going to happen, where everything's going to, come, I guess, push forward in our space, then eventually it'll hit them too.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, so you got to remember too that there's 5% of the world is crypto companies, right? There's about 5% of the global world is about crypto companies, right? And a lot of those crypto companies will give you the option to pay in stable coins. Because so instead of going through the old way, potentially now maybe a lot of these companies are start adopting crypto and say, hey, if you guys are open to it, we can start paying you in stables. And if you take stables from your job every week, and then it's actually cheaper because you're now not paying for there's always fees in between, right? From your employer to your bank, there's fees the entire time. Now potentially you're eliminating those fees because you're getting it directly sent to your MetaMask or your digital wallet, no matter what that is, whether it's a Tether wallet or whatever. And now you're strictly on chain. And if you're able to do everything on chain, you can be your own bank now officially. Yeah, and you can go create your own yield. That's just sitting in your wallet.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when everybody decides to join in on the party.
It'll be soon. I mean, I think it'll be 2027. I think 2028. By 2028, I think probably 2% of the world will get their direct deposit in stablecoins. And I think that's a huge jump from where we're at today. Because I think it's 0% of the world. So, Coinbase Markets announced that Coinbase Exchange will undergo a system upgrade on October 25th at 7 a.m. PT. So basically October 25th around 10 a.m. Eastern time, Coinbase is going to be down. They said for 4 hours. Apparently, they found a flaw somewhere during Friday's liquidation event. It has something to do with their perps exchange as well. But they're shutting down the entire Coinbase markets to kind of fix this bug. Last time we heard of someone trying to fix a bug, it was Binance, and they said they had an 8-day window, and then somebody exploited that. Should we be worried right now about Coinbase?
Well, hopefully they didn't get too specific, because Binance was very specific on what they were doing.
They were.
And a lot of people are saying that that was a big part of the issue within the Binance system, right? So
Yeah.
I hope we don't have something similar. It seems pretty vague. They haven't gone into it, so I hope they just fix it and we move forward from it.
Yeah, 100%. These next two are kind of connected. So, according to CNBC, Citibank plans to launch crypto asset custody service in 2026. The project has been in preparation for 2 to 3 years and currently underway. And then Europe's leading asset manager, Amundi, is preparing to launch its first Bitcoin index exchange traded products, ETPs, expected in the early 2026. So, this is one thing that, like, I just can't see 2026 being bearish. I mean, you have Citibank and Amundi, two of the largest providers in the world. They're both coming in crypto next year. How can we have a bear market when this stuff is happening? When you know, can you? I just can't see a bearish time next year, like, at all.
Yeah. This kind of stuff makes me think that there's definitely parts of the EU that are on board, but they obviously want the CBDC. We know that, right?
Yeah.
But some of the companies, and then you got Citibank. So you have a lot of stuff. I think 2026, the biggest thing is going to have to be, we need social and economic stability. Like, we haven't had that pretty much at all this year in 2025, which I think has messed up the crypto bull run. And it's really kind of made people scratch their head and confused a bit. Stocks have gained, by the way, but it's just not, too far down the risk curve. And so if we get the social and economic stability in 2026, then I think we could really thrive, right? I think it could be something similar to like that post.com bubble era, to where, maybe not crazy risk on everywhere, but like, excitement and investment into the stuff that's solid with innovation, AI, Web3 companies, robotics. But it's more of like the leaders in those three sectors, right? Find the Googles, find the Amazons, find those three sectors. And then if we get the stability, then there'll be a lot more positive kind of, because right now the hardest thing is having like this positive, consistent positive outlook or perspective on markets and the world in general. You got to have some of that for everybody to kind of thrive, I think, together.
Yeah, I agree. I think the biggest thing, though, one of the biggest things as well, is market participants. I mean, there's not a lot. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of people who are degenning anymore. There's not a lot of people who are jumping the risk curve, like, at all. Not even in TradFi, to your point. The stock market's at an all-time high. The Russell's at an all-time high. But anything beyond the Russell does anything above like 100 million. Anything below the Russell is not doing well, right? You're not seeing any type of speculation into stuff under 100 million. All the speculation is between 100 million and the billions. So that's a big deal. We're not getting any speculation in the markets right now. People are just they're getting in good projects or good companies, and they're just pushing forward, and they just keep buying Nvidia. They keep buying all these large tech cap stocks, right? But we're going to get to a point of quantitative easing, and that is going to pour liquidity into the markets to get low risk on. I think that's what we're waiting for. That's the missing ingredient right now. I think we have everything else, rate cutting cycle, everything. We're just missing quantitative easing, and Jerome Powell speaking right now. So I'm hoping he maybe even says that word. So
hopefully, because we definitely need it.
100%. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says the firm is developing its own technology for asset tokenization. So they were using Ondo. Ondo was doing that for them, but now they're coming out and saying, we're developing a strictly BlackRock NFT platform where it's going to be fully custodial, right? It'll be fully it'll be on chain, but it'll be something that they have full control over, to where potential real estate, potential anything, you're going to be able to go to a BlackRock website and potentially buy their NFTs, but you won't be able to withdraw the NFTs. They'll be strictly, very similar to how NBA Top Shot is.
So wait, these they announced an NFT structure, like system that they're creating.
Well, an NFT is considered a non-fungible token, right? So basically, anything that you create, it has to be an NFT or it's a fungible. That's the only two assets around. So they're going to be creating these non-fungible tokens, and they're going to be one-to-one with physical products.
So basically, you're going to have the stamp of approval with like your house title, if it exists within the BlackRock overall system, which seems to be very centralized. Sounds like
it will be. Is that different than what we're doing today, you think, or it's just a better back end?
What do you mean?
Like, so instead of like, me listing my house, now I just got to go and list it technically on BlackRock's like
real estate site.
Yeah.
I think the transfer of like the titles and stuff are going to be easier, but
well, that is the title, right? The NFT.
Yeah, but them having kind of like there was some weird stuff that was happening before this administration came in, to where like the World Economic Forum and stuff we're trying to do stuff to where like you can you buy a new house and you don't own it, you rent it from them, or the land is rented or something where you didn't own it outright. And that's one thing that scares me about like this, because I feel like BlackRock falls into that same kind of category, to where they could put something to where at the end of the day you can sell your house for whatever. Ultimately, like BlackRock has like final ownership or final say on the NFT or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just completely making up some dystopian type of event, but like, who knows like what they're going to try to sneak in into these situations. They've been buying real estate for how long now? Or like, especially during the COVID situation, they bought a ton because they knew that like small unit families would need them, and they wanted to rent them out to people.
Well, now they're going to be technically putting them on the blockchain. Right, they're going to take all that real estate that they've ever bought, and they're going to be tokenizing it, and the titles. Right, so the title of the house will be tokenized, and you'll be able to purchase right from the blockchain. So you'll have to open an account, and on that account, if you choose to do it that way and go away from the old school way, you can now potentially pretty easily buy and sell, and almost like a market, to where you're buying and selling them so quick. Let's just say you buy them on a Monday and you sell it on a Friday, and you make like $2,000 profit. That's the world that BlackRock wants to live in. They want to live in a very liquid market. They want to make these houses and stuff liquid to the point of trading like stocks.
Maybe that would be kind of weird to see that kind of environment, but it makes me think of one thing, and one of the most important metrics in our space is TVL. So if they're able to show TVL through this, with whatever they own and all that stuff, that their TVL could look astronomical.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. It's going to be in the trillions, right? Because it's going to be something crazy. But you're going to see. I mean, think about it for a second. Why not? Like right now, you're trading Pokemon cards on Magic Eden. What's the difference between trading Pokemon cards and trading a house? Right? Because all at the end of the day is you just have that NFT that says you have ownership of it. Like you don't actually have the Charizard. You can't go and like touch it unless you redeem it. But I think the same thing with the house is like, as long as you can show digital ownership from your BlackRock account, you can walk in that house the same way as if you go downtown and get your title.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I kind of want my title in my hands.
Well, what's the difference between your title? But at the end of the day, your title is just a piece of paper that it's not really, it's a copy. You're holding a copy of it. The main one is on a system that
So that's I think that's how it should work. kind of like how the collectibles work right now. I think that's how it should work. You should have a physical, tangible copy as well as the NFT to kind of, you know, just to have as a backup.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as proof of ownership.
Yeah.
Someone steals that from you, you can say, yo, like I have the copy. That's mine. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, he has the NFT. So but then you have to, yeah.
Well, the system, the government systems too have to be updated. There's gonna be a lot of systems that are gonna have to be updated though.
Yeah, but this is the update at the end of the
Well,
day. This is the new system.
The start of it, right? Because at the end of the day,
this is how you prove that it works.
Well, they also have to keep track, right? These title companies and stuff, they file all the paperwork in the courts, or you know, in the county courts and stuff. You know, who owns what property and all this stuff. So that kind of stuff needs to be updated. But if it adapts, then it will update. So
yeah, 100%. Musk says Bitcoin is based on energy. You can issue fake fiat currency. Every government in history has done so, but it is impossible to fake energy. So it does seem like Musk is back on the Bitcoin wagon here. He was asked this question and he says, hey, you know, I was part of the government. I know how it works there, and they have magic money computers that they can just print money wherever they can. With Bitcoin, you need to, you know, create energy to get new Bitcoins. There is no just creating new Bitcoins out of nothing. So do you think you got to put a bet on Polygon whether Elon Musk buys Bitcoin in the next, to say, 15 months? Let's go, you know, by January 2027. Do you think he does for any of his companies? Do you think Musk gets more Bitcoin on his balance sheets?
Sure, why not? I don't know if it happens directly in that time frame, but he has a great point. I never think about energy when I think about, you know, what's the most like worldly view of value. You have two things that always come to mind. It's time and it's money, right?
Yeah.
And I think time is obviously more, in my opinion, more valuable. But when you think about energy is definitely in that class, right? Because you know, it's not easy to just whip up. You know, you have to figure things out and how you can kind of create it and also store it and all these things. And at the end of the day, people say, you know, it's the people that are, you know, I guess not non-believers of Bitcoin and stuff. They always say it's, you know, it's made up Ponzi. You are spending something valuable to be able to create it. And that's power and energy.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with AI.
Well, that's kind of why I'm so bullish on Tau, right? Because, you know, Bitcoin, that energy goes to waste, right? It goes to nothing. It finds the code and then it's just gone. But imagine being able to store that energy that you're building up and then use it for something else, like AI. I think that's why I think Tau is such a remarkable invention, because it takes everything great about Bitcoin, except the one thing where it's just it just wastes power. It goes to nothing. It doesn't light houses. It doesn't do anything. Imagine taking that compute and using it to build infrastructure with AI. I mean, that's kind of why I'm so bullish on Tau right now. So, and then the final thing here is Pizza Ninjas presale. Participants get pizza airdrop. Pizza Ninja holders get a pizza airdrop. Pizza pet holders get an airdrop. Pizza airdrop. Who is ready for the pizza delivery? So it hasn't gone through yet, has it? I haven't checked.
Did you just come up with that, or was that something?
This is a tweet from the Pizza Ninjas site. So, but now I'm super bearish on this after participating in the pre-sale, because pizza pet owners are gonna dump this shit as soon as they get it. Pizza Ninja are probably gonna dump this. I think we're about to see a mass dumping of free money, entering RadFi and then withdrawing that Bitcoin back to their accounts and maybe buying stuff with it. But are you worried about this at all? Are you worried about this massive airdrop to a lot of people who didn't pay for it?
No. It depends on how low it gets. It could be a buying opportunity too. I mean, you know that Trevor is going to kind of, he knows he's very close with Leonidas. They're co-hosts on the show, you know, for a long time. He's seen the playbook on how to build an army, right? And so I expect him to kind of do that, you know. And so I think this could get to a certain market cap, you know, low six figures, to where it could be a scoop up opportunity. But we're going to see what happens. I do agree with you. I think there's going to be some sell down pressure, obviously. But it's crazy because like I felt like the strategy stuff was like perfect timing. I was like, oh man, these guys are hitting perfect stride right now because it was like after the first week of October that felt pretty good, right? We saw what happened with Punk strategy, and the timing actually couldn't have flipped at the worst time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
100%. I mean,
yeah. So but that could, again, you look for opportunities in those situations. Let's see how low this gets, and let's see if we get surprised here.
well, a part of me is like dump it, like just try and get it like as soon as you enter your WoW, or as soon as
And then
liquidity
rebuy it.
pulls up. I don't know. Right. So I'm looking at runes right now. What would I rather buy? Would I rather buy pizza token, or would I rather buy like mem? Right.
Well,
Like, so I'm just in my head, I'm just like, I don't even want the pizza token right now because everything's shit in the runes area, right?
I know, but like you gotta look at the market caps too, though. Like, you know, if the market cap gets to 200,000, and you think Pizza Ninjas with Trevor and stuff are probably, I would imagine they should get to at least like a $5 million to $10 million market cap at some point, right? And so at 200,000, that's a pretty good multiplier there. That's, I think, like a 10x, right? Because it takes 5x to get to a million, and another 5x to get to 5 million. I don't even know if that math is right, but I just added 5 and 5 together and put 10. But anyways, it's something similar to that, right? To where you can get like a 10x around there, right? And so I think it's like at 200,000, that's a solid opportunity because they're gonna keep talking about it.
I don't think it's gonna be a 200,000 market. I think it's gonna be a million.
No, I'm saying if it sells down to that point.
Oh, yeah.
After the dump, right?
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that because if it dumps 80%, because let's say all the ninjas and all the pizza pets holders and stuff like that. But that's the thing too. If you hold a ninja or a pizza pet, you're probably bullish on this token, right? It's probably like, I ain't selling this. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I was reading that this morning and I was like, ugh, I want to get out of that. I want my $500 back.
When you read that, I was just like picturing the Little Caesars guy for some reason, because you're like
pizza delivery. Pizza delivery. But that's our show, guys. We got 203 people watching live right now, 163 on X, 18 on Twitch, 22 on YouTube, not to mention everyone on Kick, Rumble, and Abstract, and Spotify later. We appreciate every single one of you guys every single day.
Absolutely. And without you guys, we couldn't do this. We're so appreciative of you guys. And we appreciate your support each and every day. But without our partners also, we couldn't do it. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. If you are looking to swap for Bitcoin runes, alkanes, and now Spark tokens, Spark is another thing that's supposed to be coming up that's hot. So pay attention to that. But you can go directly to Sats Terminal and swap for Spark tokens or any of those three, and you'll earn Amber points by doing it. Amber points is only earned by connecting your wallet for the first time. You get a bonus for that, and then every swap you make on their DEX. So make sure you're taking advantage of that, and those points are going to go towards a give back for early adopters of the platform. They also have a awesome Bitcoin borrowing and lending product on their homepage. It is the third link. If you click on it, it'll take you to their borrowing and lending product there. They have partnerships with the largest borrowing and lending platforms in the space. So you can check it out there and, take some stables out against your Bitcoin so you don't have to sell it. And you can, take advantage of the Spark ecosystem once it comes, or, maybe one of these other hot, metas that are about to roll out. Head over to satsterminal.com to learn more today. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to jump your Bitcoin ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs like counterparty NFTs, Repepes to Ethereum, you got to use Emblem Vault to do so. On Ethereum, they have the Gandhi application, which is the largest borrowing and lending NFT platform over there. You can take out a loan against your Taproot Wizards. So you can use Emblem Vault to do that, to bring it over there. Emblem is going to be adding other EVM chains to this as well, so just stay tuned. And they're also going to be adding Solana to it. And speaking of Solana, they have the best AI product in the Solana ecosystem, the Agent Hustle.ai. And Agent Hustle can guide you through Solana's ecosystem and help you out, because you're going to need a lot of help in the trenches. You can ask Hustle, hey, find me a couple 2 to 5x safe plays, and he'll bring back some options for you and why he thinks these are solid options. Also, he has a conditional trading engine built within the model here, and you can set a buy or sell limit order. You can say, hey, pick up some fart coin when it pulls back 30%, sell it when I'm up 150%. He'll take care of that on your behalf. And there are subscription levels to Hustle. There's a free version, but it is limited with a couple tool sets. If you want the full version, you have to get into the higher subscriptions there, and you can get a discount if you use the Hustle token to pay the subscription service with. The Hustle token is the single token that powers the entire Emblem ecosystem. That includes Emblem Vault, Agent Hustle, and Migrate.fund. And Migrate.fund is a platform that allows you to migrate from one launchpad to another, or to manage your own LP. So let's say you launched on Pump Fund and you want to go to Bonk. They will guide you through that process. They just finished up their first cohort. Huge success. Congratulations to the teams that had that. Most teams had, a really good outcome and response to it as well after they launched in their new environment. If you want to be a part of the second cohort, reach out to their team at migrate.fund, but you can learn more there. Awesome team, by the way. CEO Jake Gallen, and Adam and Chris, and of course Shannon. Their team is amazing. Head over to emblem.vision to learn all about their team and their products I just broke down for you. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They are building, to make this platform easier to use for you guys. They're constantly grinding. There's going to be some big updates coming up about their platform, so make sure you're paying attention. They have their USDC trading competition going on right now for first through fifth place. Make sure that you check out the compete link so you can see what the competition looks like. Just utilize the platform, guys, and then also make sure you check out the Trader's Edge episode 9 here in an hour and 15 minutes. It's going to be about risk mitigation, right? So you want to make sure you join that, especially after what happened on Friday, right? But you can also earn by adding to their liquidity vaults as well. Head over to artura.finance to learn more today. And then lastly is Merlin Chain, uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. They have their AI product, the Wizard version 2.0, that guides you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem. It can do DeFi functionality for you, staking and swapping, but it also can swap cross-chain in Solana and BNB, as well as, those ecosystems have popular tokens popping off all the time. All you have to do is have some Merlin Bitcoin in your wallet there. Also, speaking of staking, they have a proof of stake security model. There's 3 ways for you to participate in that. The first one is staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. Everybody loves this product. Institutions invested $55 million, I believe, into this. So it's really hot right now. They averaged 17% APR that they got back for the first staking vault. And the second one is up right now, so you can take advantage of that as well. But it is a 3-month staking vault, so just know that. And so you can see what the I think it's like from 8 to 21% is what they shoot for APR wise. So huge opportunity there. And then there's 2 options on the Merlin Chain token side. The first one is the flexible day-to-day, which you earn 15% APR. You can pull your Merlin tokens out any day you want, but it does take 7 days to, for that cooldown period to happen. But you can claim your rewards daily, roll them up in a compound interest strategy, which a lot of people do there. And then there is the 6th month option, which is called the bonded option. You earn 45% APR. You can claim your rewards daily as well, do the compound interest strategy there as well. And awesome products there. The team is constantly crushing it, grinding every day. So head over to merlinchain.io to learn more, or follow them on their X account as well. And thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Just got some big news here. So remember we talked about Wintermute sending more stablecoins. Well, they sent more, and they're not just doing Binance. They're sending to Coinbase now. Last time this happened, we had a 15% pump in Bitcoin. Pretty massive. This is absolutely insane right now. But shout out to Merlin Trader. This guy's a big deal. He has 400,000 followers here. So go follow him for more details about that. But I thought that was something that I had to bring up, because this could be absolutely massive right now. And we had a couple comments here. I definitely forgot to jump in here. We got the lonely bit here. Shout out to you, my friend. Hey guys, wish you a great day. You as well. Webdro is here. Stan, Cash Cats said got to run. Myself said must be to create currency. Webdro says sounds like the end of the stablecoin race. Patty Poo, and then we have Orlando says, yo, what's up, fellas? L1's largest L1 fork of Solana. He's talking about Zen here. I still have to get over there and participate in that. But yeah, and Cash Cat says you can buy a burger meal at Steak and Shake using Bitcoin. And then Meek Vision says the BTC one will be done on Cardano. I guess he's saying Bitcoin's going to be on Cardano now. I don't know. But shout out to all you guys who watch the show every single day. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io, some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering space, please send them our website. We really feel like I'm get started and caught up to where we are today. And if you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend Nord. NordVPN is my personal favorite. If you lock in today, it's a 2-year plan. You get an extra 3 months, and you pay $3 a month. So think about $66 for the year or for 2 years. Set it, forget it, be done with it. Come back in 2 years, and your VPN, you have to do it again. But at that point, it's a long way. So definitely check out this VPN. And if you're interested, you can use sites like Hyperliquid, MEXC. It's not your country that is geo-blocking you. It is the website itself, and you can get around that pretty easily with a VPN. So. And they're very legal, by the way. It's nothing illegal about a VPN. Privacy is there for you. And then if you need on-chain, if you need some merch, we have some of the best merch and all the crypto. Check everything out here at onchainrevolution.io. Shirts, hats, jackets, and so much more. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
On-chain revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. On-chain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.